with us this morning, someone who helps with trips all the time. We've had her on before. I am envious because she is live with us this morning from Cancun. No, she is not Ted Cruz. She is Michelle Alegria, travel expert and broadcast journalist, and she is one of the happiest people you're ever going to want to hear in your life. And she's been in the broadcast business for a long, long time. But and I also found out, reading about her this morning, that she is a yoga lover as well. And I just started my yoga class yesterday, my first one. Good morning, Michelle. How are you?
Gary, that is so exciting. You're a fellow yogi?
You know what? A girl I've known for a long, long time who's really into fitness, who actually used to work at our station and really a great person, started me on this yesterday, and I am so sore this morning, Michelle. I can't even begin to tell you. My muscles have not been worked that well for a long time, and she told me my hips and my shoulders are tight, and I play a lot of golf, so I want to get more strength and get my core strengthened up and all that, and I want to be able to swing better, and so she said that'll all help, but she was showing me ways to open up my shoulders and hips yesterday. I got to tell you, it didn't feel like I was doing that much. Today I feel like someone put me through, like a shredder. I mean, I'm a little sore, but I guess that's good, right?
I love that, Gary, yes. And you know what I also love about yoga is it can be something that, a child can do up to seniors. It doesn't matter how old you are, you can take it up at any point in your life. It's all about centering yourself and concentrating on your breathing and just becoming more and more flexible and just moving your body, which is so important, especially because we've all been cooped up at home for such a long time. Moving is so important. It is such a powerful tool for you to use every day to kind of just get out of that funk that we can easily fall into.
What was kind of cool about this, Michelle, was I've lost 200 pounds over the last year and 9 months. So yesterday, the person said, "Can you get up?" And I got up off the mat right away. She said she was getting ready to show me how to do it. I was up. She said, "Oh, you did that?" I said, "Yeah, I couldn't do that 2 years ago." I mean, stuff that I couldn't do 2 years ago, I can do now. But I felt like a real dolt yesterday because there's a few things that were a little harder because now, the one thing she did say that I do well is I walk a lot. I do a lot of walking. I walk probably 4 to 5 to 6 miles a day. So she said that'll help your core right there.
That's great. Yeah.
But she's got me working on 4 good exercise and the breathing thing and so forth. But I read about how you are a yoga lover, and I just wanted to kind of mention that and earn some cheap stars right out of the gate this morning.
Oh, no, I love that, Gary. And hopefully your listeners will take up that new hobby that you have, yoga.
Yeah.
Again, it's such a powerful tool, and anyone can do it. Doesn't matter how old you are. Doesn't matter how flexible you are, really.
Right.
It's all about connecting with your breath and just really being still for a moment and just letting everything go, right? Because it's so easy to fall into depression these days, and yoga has been such a powerful tool for me to just stay calm during this chaos.
Well, you sound like you always have it together. Plus, you live in Cancun. I mean, how bad can that be? I mean, coop me up in Cancun and let me have a shot at that. I'll be happy, right?
I can't complain. I mean, actually, what did you say? I can't hear because you're being the sound's muffled by the crashing waves right now.
Oh, stop it! You're a cruel lady. I'll tell you what. No, you always sound so happy anyway. But I wanted to ask you this morning a little bit. I'm actually traveling next week. We had 3 trips canceled last year. A cruise and 2 other trips. One was a golf trip. Next week, my wife and I are taking a little bit of a golf trip. We're going down into the Wilmington, North Carolina, and then the Myrtle Beach area. And so then I got to thinking about this, and I thought, geez, do I have to get a test ahead of time? We both have our shots done. Both of our have our vaccine shots done. And I thought, do I have to get like a letter from my mom or something like that to be able to travel on the planes? And so I wanted to get to you this morning and get some tips on how to vacation confidently and stress-free at this time. How do I do that for this particular thing? How do my wife and I do that starting this coming Sunday?
Yeah, that's a really good point, Gary, because things are constantly changing, right? The rules and
Right.
all the regulations, the CDC now requires a negative COVID test that has to be conducted within 72 hours for international passengers before going back into the U.S. So here's the good news, though. If you're thinking about traveling, you should definitely contact your local travel agent because they're up to date with all the rules and regulations, and we don't want you to lose your money. So they can help you plan the perfect vacation that includes airfare, transportation to the hotel, and the hotels are going above and beyond all of the safety measures that are required here. Everything from sanitizing your suitcase when you first step out of the van and onto the property. There is hand sanitizer everywhere you look at resorts.
Yes,
and some resorts are making it so easy for vacationers to relax while they're here. They're providing testing. So all the documentation that you will need to get back into the U.S., they're able to provide the tests right here at the resorts so that you don't have to leave the property, which makes it so much comfortable for everyone, right?
Right. And that's a good thing. You know, one of the things I found out, though, this past week, and I booked my own trip. I'm pretty good at this. I've been doing it for a long time. But I've also used travel agents, and I have great faith in them. But I booked at this one resort, which is a name resort, so I'm not going to put the name out and embarrass them or anything like that. But I book, and they say, okay, here's what the cost is. Here's the what did they say? The fee for all the various resort stuff that you can do here. It was an extra $125. So I said, okay, we'll pay that. It looked like they had a lot of cool stuff. At the moment I book it, they send me this note that says, by the way, all this stuff you just paid for is pretty well canceled. You know, we don't have a spa open, we don't have the pool open, we don't have this open, we don't have that open. I'm thinking, so what am I paying for extra? And so that's a problem when you're traveling right now, too. How do you deal with that, Michelle?
Well, that's why it's highly recommended to use a reputable travel advisor because they, in many cases, have been out here and they have seen all the steps that are being taken to make sure everything is clean and safe. They've been through, they've seen all the protocols that are being taken too for everyone to be COVID-free and just be able to have fun, right? So most of the resorts are taking steps like, making sure that everyone is wearing their mask, practicing social distancing. If you go into a restaurant out here, you have to use the QR codes in place of menus at restaurants. In the hotel rooms, they're sterilizing and sealing the TV remote controls and room amenities. They're spacing out all the chairs at the pools and on the beaches. They're wiping everything down. So, you really do feel safe when you're walking around here because everyone's just being responsible, plain and simple.
Michelle Alegria this morning, who is a travel expert and also a broadcast journalist, used to do a show called Good Day Chicago, by the way, and among a whole lot of other things as well, and also as a yoga enjoyer, and also as the founder of We Just Breathe Foundation, mission to educate kids on the importance of quality wellness and taking care of your mind, body, and spirit. So she's with us this morning. Well, one of the greatest ways to take care of your mind, body, and spirit is going on vacation. And what are some of the things, you mentioned the importance of getting someone, a good travel agent, to really help you coordinate things, especially right now with so many different pieces hanging out there because of COVID. Michelle, take us through a little bit more of that, if you would.
Well, it is so important, Gary, because things are constantly changing, the rules and regulations. The CDC recently required travelers who are going back into the U.S. to have a COVID test. So they need it to be conducted within 72 hours for international passengers prior to entering the U.S. So here's the good news. Some resorts in Mexico, the Caribbean, and Central America, they're making the process so easy by conducting the antigen test, which is the rapid testing. They're doing it on site, so here on the property for free in some cases. And get this, Gary, if you get COVID during your vacation, some of the hotels are even offering a complimentary quarantine stay for your recovery. So
wow.
if you get COVID, you're able to stay for free here in Cancun. That's not bad. I mean, I don't know about you. If I get COVID, though, I mean, it's not a bad place to be recovering.
Yeah, boy, you could pick a lot of places. I would be putting that high on the list. You know, one of the things my wife and I were concerned about, and one of the reasons I'm talking to you this morning, because we're traveling next week, I said, do we have to have a test to travel domestically? In other words, we're traveling down to North Carolina and then, traveling on to South Carolina. And as near as we could figure out last night, you don't, but you do have to, say and attest to the fact you haven't had, you've been free of COVID, I guess, for 14 days or something like that. What's the word on that right now?
Yeah, so domestically, no. But, the most important thing, Gary, is just to be responsible, right? So you're going to want to quarantine anyway when you get back home. But constantly wearing your mask is a must. Washing your hands, wearing hand sanitizer, practicing social distancing. We've heard this for so long, so
right.
We pretty much know the deal. But if you're going someplace, especially traveling to Mexico, the Caribbean, you're going to want to get some extra help, just because you don't want to lose any money if there's
right.
cancellations, or you never know, because things are constantly changing these days. So getting a hold of a good, reputable travel agent is truly the most important thing.
And one other question that people might have right now too, and a piece that we have now that we didn't have before, Michelle, is all right. Like my wife and I both have both our shots. We've had both vaccine shots now, and you have that little card you carry with you. Is that good for anything when you travel? In terms of you're supposed to show that, you're supposed to have it with you, and it doesn't say that you won't ever have a chance of getting COVID again, but you have a much better chance, I guess, of not getting it now. How's that figure into things?
Right. So if you're traveling internationally, though, you're definitely going to want to have proof that you did get tested within the last 72 hours. And
right.
again, you don't have to really worry that you're going to have to go to a local clinic or a hospital out here. If you travel to Mexico, some of the resorts and hotels are already, making it easy. As soon as you get to the hotel, they're going to ask you when you're leaving so that you're able to get that test within the next 72 hours.
And that's so important.
The hotel.
Michelle, where can people go to find out more information on this?
Yeah, for more information, please visit applevacations.com. And, everyone, it's just time, right? It's time for a little getaway. It's time to get out and enjoy a vacation and just breathe.
Yeah,
hopefully
thank you very much.
Hopefully it's Mexico or the Caribbean. Yeah, and keep on doing that yoga, Gary.
I'm going to keep. I'll be calling you for some tips on that, I'm sure, Michelle. But thanks so much, and I'm going to keep pounding away at it here. I'm committed to it. So that's the good part. And the fun part, I think, is coming. But right now, I'm going through the beginning painful part. But that's okay too, because I know something must be working if I'm in a little bit of pain. So, hey, Michelle, thanks so much. Always good talking to you, and have a tough day down there at Cancun. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you. I'll try.